Got it.
Just in case we're like, I don't know.
So
Um,
I set I set a gift goal of 5 today. Um, and you're yawning.
give me hearts, give me hearts.
I did that already. We
Mm.
actually got to 23,000 hearts on TikTok, and it still only was between 5 and 7 people. So Jared was like, "Oh, so if you're talking about the brain, then the algorithm don't algorithm." And I said, "Yeah." Now that I did that, I remembered that it actually didn't
Make a
algorithm
difference.
23,000, and I did get you got 100% more likes than people with similar followings when I got off the live. Good morning, Journeys. All
Got it.
right, now let's go ahead and switch
Okay.
our thing so we can
Oh,
breathe.
oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I was just gonna say I cut the clips for the other video yesterday.
Got it. All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to start with our 3 neural breaths for today. You're going to inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale, and inhale and exhale on my descending count of 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Lola. Let's go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1.
Good morning,
Good
everyone.
morning, everyone. All right. Good
Okay,
morning,
we're
ladies
good.
and
We're back.
gentlemen. We're back. You said you got to go hit the goal thing over here, Regina, if I'm not mistaken. So I changed the goal today just because I'm pressing buttons to see what's happening. But I think if you look at the screen at the bottom, it says a target goal. So you'll do that. Hopefully. I don't know because this is my first time monetizing anything. And so as we learned on TikTok that the algorithm doesn't necessarily algorithm because we got to 23,000 and something likes and still 5 to 7 people on the live. So somehow in theory it should work, but in practical application, not so much. So, good morning, everyone. I am Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, and I am here with my amazing progeny, Nola Rogers. I am the daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas. She is the daughter of Harvey Rogers. I am the granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II. She is the granddaughter of Harvey Rogers. I am the great granddaughter of Levi Thomas, and she is the great great granddaughter of Levi Thomas. We are
Eh,
here today to share our real life based upon Regina. You did a bronze medal. Thank you. I don't know what you did, but there you go.
She said
Um,
something for the target. Oh,
yes, and Jared said something too.
Jared
We
said
had a medal.
he not gonna not be in there too.
So thank you all because we are learning together. I have no idea what these things mean. Yes, ma'am.
At
Nola.
least you didn't throw Arthur Jethro the first in there. Then it really would have been confused going back
Right.
and forth.
It's like, who the hell? Wait a minute.
Which
What did the
level
family
are
do?
we on?
So today is day number 1 moment for me. It is day number 822 consecutive days live, and we are talking about the principle of real leadership, establish trust, to be trustworthy. I would like to say that I've already started working on tomorrow's live. We finished up the 74 principles of real leadership for Let Me yesterday, and tomorrow we'll be talking about introductory to ACC. So that will be happening there. Today we are talking about the principle of real leadership, establish trust, and be trustworthy. And I'd just like to go over a couple things and thank you, Journeys, as well. So, in simple everyday terms, here is what travel, establish trust and be trustworthy means. People should be able to predict you and should feel safe doing so. That means that they can trust that you are who you say you are. You're going to do what you say you're going to do. That's what it means to establish trust and be trustworthy. Now, let's break down trust. This is what you actively do. So, you tell the truth. And that's a hard thing for people to do because the insula registers the truth as physical pain, especially if you are of the lying breed. You are lying, raw. You're lying. It's going to be difficult for you to do. But telling the truth, even when it's uncomfortable. We have these YouTube goals here because I'm telling the truth. Because my mother said, you can't make no money doing that. You can't make no money doing that. But what she really meant, as I found out on Sunday, was that she was saying you can't make a paycheck doing that. And she was correct. Therefore, I am monetizing all Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and my Amazon store because of her programming And now I have to do things that are uncomfortable. And so I'm telling you these things because it feels like, why is she all of a sudden telling us to buy stuff and monetizing things? I'm telling you my uncomfortable truth. I was told by my mother early on, you can't make money doing that, you can't make money doing that, you can't make money doing that. Paycheck, 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 paycheck mindset, one revenue source. And so I, as you will find out tomorrow, am myth busting all of that. So that is why it is here. I'm telling you the truth. You set clear expectations and you don't move the goalposts. Good morning, Daisy. And Nola, good Daisy is saying good morning,
Good
and
morning.
Analyze
Good
Taylor
morning.
as
Oh,
well.
did you see we got another gift?
Oh, Janice, thank you very much. There we go. So you set clear expectations and you don't move the goalposts. Now, moving the goalposts is not the same as setting and maintaining high standards. So once you accomplish the goal, then you raise the standard to that. But you don't keep saying that's not good enough, that's not good enough, that's not good enough. You set and maintain high standard. You explain the standards and instead of assuming that people know. That's why at the beginning of the lives, of my lives, I tell you it's level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and what has to take place in order for you to elevate to the next level. And then you follow through on what you say you'll do. If I say, send me an email, send me a message, I'm going to send you something, I actually do that. And that happens. And so all of you are here consistently. Regina, Lola, and Nola have been over here for, Nola's been here the longest, but Regina and Lola have been here for over a year. And Janice has come back because I follow through and I say, I am who I am and this is what I'm going to do. And you all trust that that is true. So people don't have to guess how you'll respond, decide, or show up. Nobody's like, well, is she going to show up on time today? Well, yesterday she was 20 minutes late, and the day before that she was 17 minutes late. And I don't know if we're going to talk about the brain or we're going to be talking about fashion or what we're going to be talking about. Is she going to be talking about something she saw on the news? No, you know what the topic is going to be.
You might use those as an example.
Huh? You said
You might
what?
use those as an example, but it's still going to
Example,
tie
but
back
that's
in.
not.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. So be trustworthy. And this is who you consistently are. So being trusted means that people can depend on what you're saying, and being trustworthy is who you are. So your words match your actions. Your behavior is stable across moods, pressures, and audiences. You correct yourself when you're wrong instead of defending your ego. And that's where most people drop off. Credit and blame. If you're wrong, apologize when you're wrong. It's one of the 74 principles of real leadership because that's what real leaders do. And you protect boundaries, yours and other people's. So, translation means that people don't feel the need to monitor, manage, and second guess you. So, that's what trustworthy is. And we just talked about amygdala cravings based upon social conformity theory on the TikTok live, and that doggone social pressure to fit in, fear of missing out, and all of that. And that's how come people become untrustworthy, because you're too busy trying to be something that you're not and fit into something that should never have been in existence in the first place. So here is the final definition. Trust is built when your behavior reduces uncertainty for other people's brain. We all know someone that's like, I have no idea what they're going to do. I can't believe nothing coming out of their mouth. They used to say, how do you know a drunk is lying when we were in Al-Anon? Because they're talking.
Are they talking? You're right.
Yes, are they talking? So here are some everyday examples. You say you're going to start at 7, so you start at 7. I'm live at 4 a.m. and I'm live at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Those are the start times. You say feedback will be direct. It's direct and not passive. I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you want to hear it or not. And then you say standards matter, so you enforce them consistently. There are people, your niece, you did the yes and no challenge, and when you missed a day, you had to start over. You're back in the 7-day free trial, you miss a day, you start over. Those are the standards, and it doesn't matter who you are, that's what the standards are. No speeches, no reassurance, just congruence, which means that there's agreement and harmony in everything that I'm saying and doing. So in my ecosystem, which is real leadership, you may feel discomfort. I specialize in discomfort on purpose because the objective, in order to strengthen your prefrontal cortex, Amy and Lala have to be discomforted. The basal ganglia is going to have to get out of those comfort and stuck mindsets and habit loops in order for you to grow. Standards may rise in real time, and that's what you all have seen. We have had to change platforms, change business models, if you will, in order for this system to work. And unfortunately, because no one else has ever done this before, there isn't actually a blueprint. So I'm blueprinting it, architecting it, building it, and everything else in real time. And that's just the times that we live in. And Emotions may flare. You may get mad at me. I used to tell people in Toastmasters, if you don't leave this meeting one day mad as hell at me, I'm not doing my job. And I didn't know that I was pushing the neurological boundaries back then, but I did know you are going to be at war with yourself at one point. And you are going to have to wrestle with your own comfort systems to grow and strengthen your prefrontal cortex. And trust still increases because your behavior is aligned, is predictable, and it is principled. And that is for me. Because I am here showing y'all my bad test scores. I'm here saying, I don't know if I'm gonna pass this class. And so I'm still learning and growing and developing, unlike experts who say, I did that already. I don't have anything else to do. I don't trust anybody who doesn't want to learn, grow, and make mistakes. And you shouldn't either, because that means they're stuck. And at some point, you're going to need them to keep growing, and you will have to be stuck wherever that person is that you have decided to listen to and follow, which is why I don't follow anybody but the Nobel Prize people on Instagram, and that's it. So today, Nola is going to take over here momentarily, but you got to ask yourself, are you trusted? Can you be trusted, and are you trustworthy? Are you trusted, and can you be trustworthy? The battlefield is in our minds. And you are correct, Jared. And so the lives are sponsored by water. So right now we're going to take our first swig of water, and then Nola, you can go ahead and take it away. Drink water.
I thought we got rid of her.
Who?
Tracy from daycare. Mhm.
Did we? We about to find out.
No, she
Go
was
ahead.
supposed to be gone from the last, because she was here last Friday doing stuff.
What's she? Well, let's see what Tracy gonna do. We might have a lesson in the lesson today, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh boy.
Okay, here we go. All right, let's see. Wait, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna play a game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how much neural capacity Tracy has. So
Can I
Tracy has
start
said, "Hey,
after? When can I
who
start?
studies this?" You can start after her. We're gonna see. We're just gonna see how long this goes. We're gonna see what she got this morning
Oh God. Okay.
before we get bored.
Because I had things prepared.
Okay, well, you're gonna get it, Nola. This is life. Just put this in. This is what you can do. You can write this down on a post-it in your change log, so we can see. So it's we're calling an audible. You got a
Okay.
post-it? You can come get one. You gonna remember what you're gonna say, Tracy? You got
Oh yeah,
anything else?
I got it in my head because I'm hyper focusing.
Okay, well, go ahead and stay focused. That's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Anything else, Tracy? We waiting on you.
Another principle of real leadership is
Good
eliminate
morning.
distractions.
And we're getting ready to. But we're also leading by example, because that's another, we're going to go tag for tag, bar for bar. We're going to go principle for principle while we wait on Tracy to see what's happening. We're bored, Tracy. Okay. Waiting on you, Bookie Boo. Okay. We're bored, Tracy. We're bored with you, Tracy. Boo! Throwing tomatoes. I'm throwing tomatoes. Boo! 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 Tracy, boo! Boo! Thumbs down. You ain't got it today, boo boo. Boo! Oh, this is garbage. You ain't got nothing better than that? Come on. You woke up to fuck with us. Let's do this. We ain't new to this. We true to this. Watch Dr. Donna do this. Okay? I'm
Now he
about to
just
show you. Throwing
J-
tomatoes. We throwing tomatoes at Tracy. Bye. Nope. Not today. Not in my life. No, Tracy, good morning. Boo! You came to mess with us. You better get better than this. You came trying to troll. Troll, Tracy. Troll. Troll. Let's see this. What you got? What you got? You got an opportunity. You came thumb thugging with your disinhibition effect. You came back this week. Oh, yes, we already did, boo. Because now you concerned. We about to hijack your amygdala. We about to hijack your amygdala. Backfired. You got to go back to base camp and regroup, boo boo. That's what you can do. Oh my goodness, it's not working. It's not working. And you're going to get out of here. And you're going to get out of here. You're not coming back. You don't understand, Richard. Tracy came to start trolling. Tracy came starting stuff. Tracy said, whose stud is this? She was here last week and she got missed. She didn't get this, so she came back this week to troll. And now we trolling for trolling. That's what's actually happening, Richard. But you stick around because we actually got a lesson. Because trolls think that they could do whatever they want and nothing's supposed to happen to them. You're not supposed to troll them back. But this is a psychological experiment. It's a psychological experiment. So we can see how neurologically inept Tracy actually is. Because now Tracy's heart is beating. Her insula is alerting her. She don't know what to do. So now let's see what Tracy has resorted to. And so she said, I'm coming back like herpes, boo. Expect me. That's all you got, Tracy?
That didn't
You
show up in the chat. Yeah.
because it's showing up for me. I'm not gonna let that show up. That's all you got, Tracy. That's all you got. You're actually not coming back. You're not coming back. You will not be back. You're gonna go troll somebody else's stuff. You might switch accounts, but every time you switch accounts, I'm gonna block that too. I'm gonna block that too. You are unsuccessful this morning. It didn't go as planned. Mission failed. Mission failed. Mission failed. I don't even know what that means. That's an imbecilic ass response. That's what that is. It went left, and you weren't expecting that. Wow, you really are of low intelligence. No one is even tracking what you're saying this morning. And we've had enough of your fodder for today. So you can go away. You can go away. Okay. Okay. So we have two people going this morning, and we are back, Nola, and thank you for allowing us to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're not going to do is let somebody come back and start saying things that don't bode well for them. Trolls need to stop trolling. It's always trying. They're unsuccessful. Ain't nobody bullying me. Ain't nobody bullying me at all. It's disinhibition effect at its finest. It's dysregulation. And so it's an example of what a dysregulated brain with a weak prefrontal cortex does. That's what that is an example of. And that is why sometimes I let it go and sometimes they gotta go. That's what's actually taking place because dysregulated people are showing up in your life every day and you're not doing anything about it. But when you have a strong prefrontal cortex, you get to decide. You get to decide. Tracy started out being very, very verbose and had a lot of bravado. And then it got lesser and lesser and lesser because that's not what Tracy was expecting. And Tracy should have been gone last week, but now Tracy is gone because what dysregulated people don't anticipate is that you're going to remove them. And one person told us that this is public domain. So they have the right to be able to say whatever they want, even though public domain is about publishing things that are now over 100 years old. So, yeah, Nola, feel free. I am your security. So now you can talk freely and say whatever you have to say to the proceed.
Got it. Yes. So I had some points and stuff. Anyway, the point is today is establish trust and be trustworthy. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Rosebud.
Okay, and so I was thinking about this from somebody else sent the gift.
Thank
Okay,
you,
we
Alex,
might
for whatever
actually
that
hit
was.
our
Yeah.
goal. Okay.
Thank you, Alex, for the
Yeah.
100. Go ahead, Nola.
No,
I
I think
apologize.
that's Alexis because it's got the
Oh,
IS.
Alexis. I'm sorry. Alexis
Or is
exclusive.
it
I
Alex
apologize.
is reclusive? It's
Oh, it's
either
Alex
Alexis.
is reclusive 377.
Okay,
I think
it's
we
either
got it.
Alex or Alexis. Anyway, the point is that the live topic is establish trust and be trustworthy. And so last night I was thinking about this a couple different ways of all the facets of trust, and some examples I have from my own experience are the common ones, and then some were kind of out of the box. So I'm gonna start with the conventional ones. So one, I had an example with working with my cousin, and so I thought we were like a team and we were reaching the same objectives. And then, like last minute, I found out we were not a team, and he went AWOL and went against the strategy, and so I had to regroup. And so I reflected on that, and I was like, were there signs that should be the thing. And so it kind of happened kind of last minute for me. And for me, with that example, I would say that, it takes a time to build trust, and it can take seconds to eliminate it. Mhm.
Mhm.
And so that's the one of the typical ways people betrayal is a typical way people would think of trust. Another example I'm going to use is relationship, where having an over paranoid girlfriend, and so any and everything I do was not trusted. It's like, bro, you're cheating on me, you're doing that, you're doing, and I'm like, okay. And so ended up breaking up because I'm like, okay, you can't have a relationship without trust. You never trust me.
Yes.
There is a point of being overly paranoid.
Mhm.
So and I actually saw this on a clip on TikTok. There was a guy who it was from a show or something, but he literally had to have his girlfriend FaceTimed while he was getting his teeth cleaned. So he had to have the dental hygienist put it on the counter because she had to always see what he was doing. So there are people there is trust and balance and honesty in a relationship, but sometimes the over lack of trust makes it where people are controlling you, where they
Mhm.
have to know your every move. They're tracking your location. Where
Mhm.
were you? You need to account for every second of your day. You don't
Mhm.
breathe without my permission.
Mhm.
That's a problem. And they keep saying, I have trust issues. I have trust issues. I have trust issues. And it's like, okay, that's your issue. I should be able to live my life freely without you being paranoid about everything. And it's not they have a lack of trust in you. They have control problems. You're reading that.
Yeah, I don't understand Joseph is saying, but I think you in that situation, allowing that person to show their perspective, even if it might not work with the net next time you guys have to work together, they may trust you to lead.
No, I've had
No.
it. I've had it and it doesn't, and it actually gets worse. They start
Hmm.
controlling more, not
Hmm.
less. And so
Right.
it's actually gaslighting because they're like,
Hmm.
"Well, I don't trust you." And so you start think you're doing stuff wrong, but it's actually they have control issues.
Let me interject. And so what happens is if that decision is made, Joseph, that's social conformity theory. And so instead of addressing the conflict and the other person's issue with trust, you end up, okay, give me 1 second. You end up with having to conform to whatever that person wants. And what happens is in their neurological ecosystem, once you conform, the amygdala says, ooh, I own you, I can control you. And so now they start demanding more and more and more from a neurological perspective because the amygdala is addicted to being able to control this person. And if you acquiesce, you're just following social conformity theory, the whole notion happy life, happy wife, or happy wife, happy life. When if you are in healthy, high functioning relationships, conflict is going to occur. If there is the perception of mistrust, then you have open and honest conversations about that. That's why handle conflict when it occurs and be honest are two of the 74 principles of real leadership. So all of this is the direct result of people having dysregulated emotional centers and weak prefrontal cortexes because logically that doesn't make sense. But in the dysregulated system, it makes a lot of sense, especially to the dysregulated person. So it will continue. And social conformity theory says all of that stuff makes sense. It doesn't in a regulated prefrontal cortex. Go ahead, Nola.
Okay. And so that was he said I can understand. Yeah. And so that was two examples, and I feel like my second example is already kind of uh switching it up where it's not a lack of trust, it's a need for control, but
Uh huh.
people are using the word trust. So now
Uh
you're
huh.
thinking you're over analyzing yourself like, oh my god, am I untrustworthy? And so that's one perspective. An additional perspective I have, and I was thinking about all of this at like 12:30 last night.
Well, technically that's this morning, but yeah.
Okay. So a couple hours ago.
Yeah. 5 hours and 22 minutes, 24 minutes ago. Go ahead.
Okay. And so another example is from a somatic marker perspective when I was working on changing my behaviors because you had past experience of me not doing the right thing. You did
Yes.
not necessarily trust
Yeah.
in the
Say
moment
that.
I
Exactly.
would do the correct thing. So, like from a
That is
driving
correct.
perspective,
Uh-huh.
you thinking I'm going to do an erratic turn, or
Mhm.
I'm going to be inconsistent, or
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, turn items in late with my real leader
Mhm.
resources, continue not to
Mhm.
communicate effectively, raise my
Mhm.
voice. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? And so
Slam my
those
door.
meltdowns.
Mhm.
And so you had somatic markers from that. So sometimes
Yeah.
somatic markers of past experience makes it so people you don't trust that people's behavior is going to be different. And so
Yeah.
and what I found with that, and that's the whole thing that I said, trust takes time, you know, ton of time to build, seconds to break. And so I had to be trustworthy. I had to
Yes.
get a track record of changing that behavior for there to be things where like you're going to do it right. Like now I'm at appointments, even if a problem shows up, a piece is
Mhm.
missing. Yesterday we had the wrong size mattress
Yeah.
that, that came as a set.
Mhm.
The bed and the mattress came as a set.
And then my
Now
match.
we if a problem shows up, if I have to do a workaround, I'm gonna be calm because
Yes.
now I have been trustworthy long enough that okay, she's
Mhm.
gonna figure it out. She might look
Mhm.
a video up.
Mhm.
She might ask the client a question. I will handle it now.
Yes.
Before, when I wasn't in that trustworthy zone, it was like, oh boy, is she gonna
What if
lose
she
it?
done messed
Is
up
she
now?
gonna break something?
How bad is it gonna be?
Right. And so
Mhm.
part of it, if you are trying to create trust, then you
Mhm.
do have to recognize the somatic markers you created before, and then be like, you got to work and get a track record of consistently changing that. By the time I was 2 RL programs in, when I did RL 365, RL Advanced, she knew I was bought in because
Right.
I had done 365 twice. And then I did this.
730. 730 consecutive days. That's how long it took. So before you continue, Joseph just has these two things. Let's go ahead in case somebody else says something. Joseph said, I
Mhm,
have a huge issue with wanting to control everything. It was
mhm,
so hard for me to work on that and fix myself. And I
mhm.
destroyed all of my trust with my wife, but it took about a year and a half to gain her trust back.
Oh, we got to
Yay!
our goal.
We
We
got
got to our
almost,
goal.
yeah.
Thank you,
Okay.
Bridget. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goal
Yeah.
achieved. Thanks you to participate. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you for the floating heart.
There you have.
Y'all don't even Okay, go ahead, Nola.
Okay. And so
And thank you
additional,
for sharing, Joseph. Thank you for being that transparent and honest here.
that's awesome. And so another example of trust, and I have one more, but I'm going to get to that at the last, but this one kind of works with what we were just talking about. We have a lack of trust now from the furniture companies.
Yes. Yes,
Yes,
we are.
y'all are related. We are related.
Yes.
That's the whole point. Anyway.
Tree fruit.
Anyway,
Go ahead.
another example is we have a lack of trust for the furniture companies now
Uh-huh.
because of their trustworthiness. Now we have somatic
Yeah.
markers of them. It's like, okay, what's going to be wrong today?
Yeah.
We're not even going into thinking it. We're surprised when everything is right.
Right.
We're like, is something going to be the
Opening
wrong
up the box
size?
like,
Is something going to be broken? Is the manual going to be in there? Is the hardware going to be there? Are we going to have the hardware and the manual?
right,
Did they send the right item? Is this
right.
the correct color? So
Yes.
we are
Yep.
going in untrustworthy
Yes.
because
Yep.
of so many somatic markers of it being wrong.
And
Somebody
it's
will be
just gotten
like,
that bad in the last 2 years. This has really gotten bad in the
that's
last two
part of the
years.
reason why we ask for a link or a photo ahead of time, because there has actually been instances where I've opened the box and people are like, that's not what I ordered. It's
Yep.
supposed to be a wine cart.
Uh-huh.
Why is it a
Yep.
bed?
And what's the name? Remember when we were doing what's her name? I'm not gonna say her name, but her Airbnb, and they literally sent the bathroom cabinet, and it was supposed to be
Oh
something
God.
else.
Right. Home I can't say who was the culprit. Home Depot sent a bathroom cabinet, and I forgot what she was supposed to have. I think it was supposed to be like a refrigerator or something. It's supposed to be an appliance, and they
Right.
sent a 2 bathroom vanity, and she didn't
Yes.
even have a bathroom big enough for it.
Right. And they left it at the front because the stairs was too high. I had to put a walking pad together for my mom, and it had no instructions in it. And they will come
I
with a
put those
QR code now
together
too.
before, yeah,
Yep.
I think so.
And they will come with a code. Okay, what's your fourth example, Nola? Or
No,
did you
that's
have
got to be fifth. No, I mean
fifth?
no.
Okay.
Is it the fourth or the third?
It's the fourth. That was the fourth. What's your
Yeah,
fifth one now?
this is
Right.
the fifth. Okay.
Uh-huh.
My fifth example, and I'm not trying to get overly religious here, but when I started having creating my relationship with God, I didn't realize how much trust was going to be involved because I did not actually understand the concept of faith. So it is kind of like you're being walked down this path, or you get a vision, or you have instructions, or something like that, and then you have to trust that it's going to work out. So that's a whole component that's not even talked about, and we've even talked about this before, the like ritualness of um religion, where people are going through the motions. But because I've had to be an adult and do hard stuff, I've had to trust that it was going to work out and that the path is going to lead somewhere. So that's a component people don't talk about, that is actually you have to have trust to continue to move forward. Additionally,
Okay.
no, I have another example. Is on my actual path of real leadership, I had to create trust within myself because there
Mhm.
were times where I was like, "Are you going to do this? Are you going to change?" Because I had self doubt where I'm like, "Is this going to work? Am I going to always be like this?" And so I didn't trust that my behavior was ever going to actually change, even with myself. And so, like yesterday was a great example where my I've had issues with handling change in the moment, or having my behavior be different in the moment. And so we were having a conversation yesterday about doing work for her in her business. You're the her.
Okay. I know her.
And so in the moment, I actually did a very mature real leader neuropability thing where I acknowledged what was my blockage, what I felt like I couldn't do, how I felt, the pressure I felt. And then I also acknowledge the goal that I had, what I wanted to achieve, and then knowing like I know it was going to take me outside of myself, but I know I was going to get the skill for it. And so that was something I never thought I was going to be able to do, is have the feeling in the moment, be able to address the behavior calmly, and then be able to acknowledge how I felt. Because before, my process was pop off, have a meltdown, say a bunch of things I regret, apologize, and then get to what I actually wanted to say.
But
So
don't change. But don't change either. I get that, Nola. I often ask, can I trust that I'll do this? I didn't use to do that.
right.
Hmm.
And so for me, that was huge for me because I'm like, dude, you actually did it in the moment. You actually
Uh-huh.
changed the behavior in the moment. And we've been talking about this for years. And so part of it, my change log has helped because it's allowed me to be regulated. And I can actually talk about that because I don't know if I think I started doing it, but I can touch base on that in a minute. But it has made me more regulated. And so I was happy that I could do that because for years I was like, there are some behaviors I had that changed faster than others. Like I got my consistency better uh, through my business. I got to completing projects. Some of these communication behavior things, I was like, oh, dude, when are you going to get it? And so that was a big win for me yesterday. And so I'm glad that I continue to trust myself and change my behavior and then just keep having the moments till I finally got it right in the moment, because now I got a reference point to actually work from for me doing it right when it counted. So the other thing, this is unrelated. I did a change log for my, minor case of autism. I don't like change, and so I had an interaction last week that made me like look it up and be like, okay, I need a system. We're just saying drink water. Mhm.
Yeah, because I did it already. Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Mhm. And so I went to chat, and chat suggested a change log, and I'm like, that's interesting. And so I've been doing it. This will be day 11, but from 10 days in, I have already felt a difference. It's caused it so that the term they used was stacking. And so I am logging all of the changes throughout the day because they were piling up my head, and that was causing the meltdown. So part of it, doing that throughout the day, plus my brain dumps, has made it so I have neural clarity. So there's been a lot of moments within the last technically 11 days, but I'll say 10 because this is the 10 days of me actually having stuff logged where I've been able to handle things calmly because I didn't have it piling up. So part of the reason why I've been able to trust myself in my behavior change and my development more is because of my strategies. We were having a conversation the other day, and she was talking about like why I was talking about how my like morale and everything went up, and it was because of like my mental illnesses and everything. I had a lack of hope, and I was like, I was kind of depressed and everything all the time. I was crossed between depressed and angry. And so it was because I didn't feel like I had control of my behavior and like I was a victim to my brain. And so by getting the strategies, getting neuropability and stuff, I've been able to manage my mental illnesses, have neuropability to be able to operate in my PFC and stuff. So now when I'm doing a behavior, it's what I want and it's not me reacting to my brain already being amygdala hijacked. So that's not
Mhm.
necessarily something people talk about is your relationship with yourself, your trust in yourself, and that you having trust that you will actually become the person you want to be and that your
Yes.
behavior will improve.
And the one thing that I'd like to add to what you're saying, and thank
No,
you for
you go
the
ahead. I'm done now.
example, is that the one thing that Nola would do is she would do some untrustworthy thing. She would do something, and then I would react somatically. And then she would start saying, "See, you always, and you always, and you," and I would say, how did I start always? How did I get here? What caused, what was the trigger for me to start the behavior that you now see? What did you do? What did you do for me to now be doing what I'm doing? And it took her a while, years, for her to understand she is the one that caused, you caused it, and now I got to react
Well, just like I
most of
said,
the time.
the somatic
Huh?
markers, yeah. I had
Right.
created
And now
bad
I got
somatic
to fix
markers.
it. And now we're at an appointment. I'm fixing it.
Oh, well, thank
Regina,
you.
she said, and now I'm in the car having to fix it. Sometimes in the first 2 years of her business, talk to the client, say this is what's happening and all of that. And then she would sit back and let me after she didn't do none of the shit she was supposed to do. Then I'm holding her accountable in the car. Now she getting mad and yelling and fussing and cussing. I'm like, this on you. You the one signed up for this appointment. You the one didn't listen to me when I said check and do a test fit and you didn't do a test fit. Now there's holes in the wall. Now you got to use spackle and all this other stuff. This shit is on you. And what she wanted me to do was social conformity theory, not hold her personally accountable. Now y'all know me. I don't give a fuck who you are. Chat get held personally accountable. Chat's like, I know you encoded this. I'm sorry, Dr. Donna. I apologize. This is what you asked for. And then chat will give me what I want. So I don't care if you're fucking AI, you getting held personally
I don't.
accountable
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
what you're doing. And so my point is, she finally now understands she's the one who caused the problem. And so the one time, so she had been doing things wrong for like 2 years. And then she'd do it right twice. And then she would say, I'm changing. You're not even giving me time to fix it. And I'm like, I got 24 months of you doing this wrong. You did it right twice. Two right times versus 24 consecutive months of doing this wrong. That math ain't never gonna math. You demonstrated that you were untrustworthy. So it's going to take you about a year for that marker to not show up anymore. And that's the other thing. And that's what Joseph is saying. It took a year and a half. So if you've done something consistently that's wrong and untrustworthy, and now you're on the right path, do not tell somebody, well, you just won't let me change, and you just keep bringing up the past. I'm not. I'm bringing up a somatic marker that you don't have enough track record for that new marker to be put in place. So if you need to change behavior and you need to establish trust and be trustworthy with somebody, it's going to take that person time. And you cannot be mad at them and upset with them because of all of the times you didn't do it, all of the times that you did do something that you shouldn't have. It's going to take neurological trust because that marker is going to keep showing up. And it's going to feel it every time because the person had to make an allowance for your inability for them to be able to trust you. So you got to own that part too. And you can't say, this is why I'm not going to change, because people use that as a reason to stay the same. You're going to use that as a reason to stay the same. Well, every time I try to change, y'all keep bringing up the past. It's not bringing up the past. It's you need time. Time heals all wounds. And in this instance, time builds all trust. And you got to be prepared for that. Does anyone have questions for Nola or myself before we proceed? If you do have a question, then you put your ellipse, ... your thinking emoji, your brain, your question mark, something to let us know that you actually do have a question.
So I feel like that was a diverse amount of examples and not just thinking of your typical ways of trust. I mean, I used a couple, but
Regina is going to have something to say. And for those of you that are new here, that are popping on, we do not discuss what we are going to discuss ahead of time. We do not show each other our graphics. No, it kind of showed me hers. So this is her saying whatever she's going to say and me saying what I'm going to say. That was fire. I'm actually showing my girl that part. Okay, go ahead, Randy Williams. Bridget is thinking.
Yes. I don't. Okay, I'm gonna come back, people, but I don't know why.
That's what I was gonna say.
Chat put the dog with the check mark.
Right. No, look, my question to you was, do you actually have the photo of your and Jonice said thank you. Your photo of your initial toolkit, is that readily available in your phone? No, damn it.
Should have asked me that ahead of time. No, I don't have that on my phone.
No,
That was a
said
couple
thank
days
you.
ago. No, people got to go to mine. So, yes, I'm glad that I could provide perspective to everyone.
So anyway, Nola
Bridget,
celebrated 5 years in business on February 3rd, and she literally has a picture of her first toolkit versus the back of her car. So if y'all go, and I'm just gonna have her, I might even show it on the live tomorrow just for you to be able to see it, how far along she has actually come for that. You know what? Let me do it this way. I got it. I can go on Instagram on my tablet and
right?
show
Because
it.
you
can
got
see it.
access to other devices. I'm in isolation over here. I don't have nothing.
Okay, so Regina said, understanding somatic markers of each person involved makes sense because everyone's somatic markers are different. Yes, ma'am. And then Bridget said, what is that you've been logging for 10 days? 1 second, Bridget. And then how did Nola go about setting up the system to gain trust? So Bridget, answer Bridget's question first and then answer Jared's question next.
Okay, cool. So with Bridget, I am doing a change log. Congratulations, thank you. I'm doing a change log. So with autism specifically, you don't like things changing, and it can be the slightest thing. And so I saw someone on TikTok talking about her son's favorite cereal. The ingredients changed, and now she's got to go tell him. And so. So you like things being the same, but it's interesting component because I have ADHD. So then with that component, I like stuff being different. It's weird. They pop up at different times. But most people that just have autism want everything to be the same, everything to be predictable, and everything. Thank you, Lola, as well. And so what I'm logging is any change. So craziness in traffic, the order in which I had to do an appointment change, what we planned on doing change. I had to recently had to start including snacks into my day to day, and so that was a change that I didn't want to do because I had my system of 3 meals, and now I was going to have to switch it to adding 3 more things to make sure I had the right amount of snacks. And so what I'm logging is all of those little changes that actually bother me throughout the day down, so then it's not stacking, because that's the terminology the chat was using, so that my brain can maintain neural clarity and I can stay emotionally regulated, because those things seem minor, but if I have 10 to 15 of those in one day, by the end of the day I'm gonna be dysregulated.
And so what let me interject for 1 second. So what I kept noticing is that every 3 weeks she would pop off. And I kept saying, you got to start talking about your feelings, talking about your feelings. And it wasn't feelings, it was the change. But and I said in the moment while it's happening, I kept saying that. And finally she had discussion with chat, and chat said, do the change log. So in those first 10 days, how many was it? 100 and what was
60.
it? 60.
It was just 60, yeah.
It was 60. So if you add another 11 days to that, she would be anywhere between 120 to sometimes 300, depending on her appointments and how much stuff changed. So if it's 60 different small changes in 10 days
And
and
it's
she has
actually
less
been calm right
appointments,
now. Yeah.
and it's been calm right now. Can you imagine when we doing 3, 4 appointments on them days when we left the house at 8 o'clock in the morning and sometimes didn't get home till midnight? Can you imagine that day after day, 6 days a week, one day off? That's why at 21 days, it was just Mount Vesuvius or Pompeii. She's just blowing up from all of those incremental changes. And
And
we have been cool as the other side of the pillow now.
we have chat. Thank you, Regina. And
Yes.
chat said with people, well, part of it is actually all of them, the autism, the ADHD, and ADD, all three of them. It takes you longer to realize that you're having a feeling. So like from that,
Mhm.
and I had said that with the self-care challenge, it took me 300 days for my insula to even start remotely having a feeling. But it takes you longer to feel stuff. So instead of addressing things smaller with the mental illness, you don't notice
Mhm.
it until it's something major, and
Huge.
now you're overreacting. So that
Mhm.
is something people have to work on with the mental illness, is actually regulating their insula so it can pick up on stuff sooner. Okay.
And
And so
then
the change log is helping with that. Yeah.
Jared's question is, how did Nola go about setting up the system to gain trust?
Hashtag it's in your daily. So I had to do things daily, and it was in areas. So when the
Mhm.
situations arise, it showed up. So like I think a week or two ago I talked about the trash being messed up. So me waking up the morning of with the trash truck on our street, grabbing all the trash out of the house and taking it out with the guy basically waiting for it. That is how last minute I was with taking out the trash. And so consistently doing it the night before, she knew,
Mhm.
maybe like within a month, if I had 4 weeks of doing it the night before, she knew that it was going to be picked up. And sometimes because I was so late, we missed it,
Mhm.
as you could imagine. Because I had to go from being out of my sleep to grab all the trash cans and get the trash out the door
Yes.
while it was already on the street. So sometimes I
And we
didn't
only
make it,
have six
as you can
houses on
imagine.
our street. We got 6 houses on our block. That's it. That sounds like me. I'm having a hard time filling my insula. And that's why I keep and thank you for that, Bridget. That's why I started asking you all
Mhm.
how do you feel about what I said? How does that make you feel? How do you feel about that? Because you now have to start assessing, well, I don't feel. That's number one. And now you got to say, well, why don't I feel? Well, when was the last time I did feel? What is happening? And so much has happened that the insula is numb to everything. And so it's either overly excitable and everything is a fucking problem, or nothing is a problem. And both of those are no brainer because what you need is the signal to show up and then come on in. So it's systematized, Jared. Everything has to have a system. So now she takes the trash out. In our subdivision, you can't put the trash out before 6 p.m. Nobody but us follows that. People they trash out on Monday at 2 p.m. The trash don't come till Tuesday. So at 6 o'clock, she gathers everything. She has a reminder on her calendar if it's
Mhm.
bulk or not. And then we gather all the trash, and then she rolls out the recyclable in the other bin at 6 p.m. unless we're not home, and then she does it as soon as we get home. So it's a matter of having systems, but what is also a matter of having the cognition. So remember, she said she did 2 RL challenges back to back to get her prefrontal cortex strong enough to get it done. So the neuro reps are what makes it so you have a strong enough prefrontal cortex for the cognition to understand what time it actually is, to understand that this system needs to be implemented. So without a strong prefrontal cortex, none of this works. Not one thing. Not you ain't gonna be able to use no principle of real leadership. You're not gonna be able to calm Amy and Lala down or nothing because it is where this where the magic happens is in that doggone prefrontal cortex in the frontal lobe. So you doing your neural reps every single day is how you strengthen it so that you can actually assess what's taking place, keep your word, and then be able to do it. So you have to keep doing it. And the thing for you, Jared, is you got to override that comfort from Amy and Lala. Just like, yeah, we get to it later. We get to it later. No. Uncle Vinny says, hey, go ahead and get it done now. Miss Brenda Jones is like, get your ass up and go take that trash out, or whatever it is. And then for you, Bridget, you have to keep saying, how do I feel? How do I feel? How do I feel? And then it will show up, because something is pushing all that down. And when you keep incrementally saying, how do I feel? The Mount Vesuvius is going to happen. And then all of a sudden, you're going to feel it all. And then you will be able to start regulating your emotions from there. Yes, strategic. You can't manage time, Jared, because time is going to happen whether you do something or nothing. So it's actually building your PFC and strengthening your strategies. So time, people say time management, and I used to call it time consciousness. I taught a course back at Frito-Lay. I've developed and use it on the admins. Time is going to happen. If we sit right here, it's 50 minutes and 44 seconds, 45 seconds, 46 seconds. So how can you manage something that you have no control over? You can manage your money, you can't manage time, but you can be conscious of time. And so time consciousness says, it takes me 15 minutes to take a shower. It takes me 3 minutes to brush my teeth. It takes me 10 minutes to shave my head. If I wait a week, if I wait 2 weeks, it's going to be about 15 minutes. So knowing how long it takes you to do something is actual time consciousness. It used to take me 23 minutes to drive home when I worked at Frito-Lay. Gave my ex-husband and his bitch enough time to get her out of my house. So that 23 minutes. So yeah, time don't stop. So
Well,
understanding.
it's
Go ahead, Nola.
consistency too. So that's what I was saying. So like some things with my behavior at appointments, I had those nearly every day. So I could change those daily. And then I use the trash example because that had to happen weekly. So if
Mhm.
you're attempting to show and create the new somatic marker, it has to be when the situation arises. Everything isn't every day.
Right. Scheduled. Right. So yeah, time don't stop. You can't manage it.
And
Regina said, Nola, that's some serious work and commitment for 2 years. No joke. Regina,
well,
you got 190 something days right now. What you
Well, it was actually more than 2 years because I did well, I've been doing real leadership stuff since my freshman year of high school, but consistently, like, on the clock, I did RL 365, RL Advanced back to back. Then I did the self-care challenge, which was another 365 days, but I started that partially with RL Advanced. So then I finished that like 2 months after. And then I have been doing Real Leader Resources
for
logged for
319 days? 319 days.
no,
320
three.
somewhere around there. And then Journey said, I heard you say don't do anything without his plan. That's the strategy saying, but similar. So I committed to doing my Neuro Reps before each live. Yes, ma'am. I saw that
Today is going to
notification this
be
morning.
314 days of me doing
Okay.
Real Leader Resources logged.
Yeah. So yeah,
Thank you.
314. So yeah, she has to do that, or she can go too. Fuck around. Anyway, let me show them this. So this was, and hopefully the green screen will let y'all see it.
She
Let
said
me
that's
move
why I
this out
can
there.
appreciate Nola's efforts.
Okay,
So
so y'all
that's the
see
kit
this?
from before. Go closer because we'll need to see your face.
I can't go closer because
Oh, okay,
here's
got it.
what I do. I'm gonna take the green screen off so that it can be seen. Okay, so hopefully now y'all can see it. Can y'all see
Yes,
it?
yes, yes, yes.
So
So
everybody
that
see that
was the
stuff
kit I was using roughly 5 years ago.
to put furniture together. Everybody
And
got
just
it?
throw in a flathead and a Phillips screwdriver.
And one drop cloth because we was using bed sheets
One
initially.
drop cloth, and actually I had an Allen key too. So
Right.
the
And a
three
broom and a
other hand
dustpan.
tools. That was it.
Yes.
And
Okay.
this kit is missing a couple things, but it used to also have a box cutter and some scissors in there too. But yeah,
And so and now this is what the
this
back. Okay.
is okay. There we go. That's the back of my car. So that's all my tools and some stuff is stacked in there. I actually took some things out because I had some more stuff in there. And so like I have a
Ladders and
rack in
all
the
of that.
garage that has some tools. But see, it's a lot more
Right.
because I can do mounting and everything now.
So the point is that when you start doing stuff every single day, it does become it's in your daily. So that little kit used to just fit, and she could just bring one little thing in, and that was that. But because of challenging yourself and saying yes to bigger projects more and more and more and more and more, Now you have the ability to go get it, doctor's bags, all kind of stuff, everything. Some of the
Hardware in
tools
the
that
car
are
and
on the shelf
everything.
in the car and everything else. So that is what it looks like now. Multiple different types of drop cloths. We got the thick ones, the moving ones, the tarps, the cloth ones, and the plastic one. Now that's the cleanest
Oh
trunk
no,
I've
it didn't
ever
used to
seen
look
with
like
the
that.
tools in
This
it.
is because I got
Not
the
the
new
journey.
car. It's
Yeah,
because I
look
got the new car.
at
I used to have ladders thrown back there and everything, but with the new car, we said, okay, we're gonna get it cleaned up and organized. No, I had bags and drop cloths and towels and paper towel and extra change of clothes and a reflective vest and
it was a mess.
dollies and stuff.
But it also shows you how give me 1 second. It also
Because I've
shows
had
you how neural clear she actually
that's
is
what I
now.
was about to say. Yeah.
Right. So that's neural clarity. Because I was telling her for years, I'm like, this is disorganized, this is that. No, all handy people have their trunks like this. This is how I was like, but it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't. You should be able to just grab it and go. And so the other thing too about with the new vehicle is because it's a terrain or whatever. That part
It's
is
got a
now
rubber mat, so it
rubber
won't
in it,
have the
so you
hair.
can wipe it out. So no pet hair or anything in there.
And I was
So that's
telling
the
her that
beautiful
we
thing.
needed to get a vehicle with the rubber because it's already pre-made onto the mats on the ground and in the trunk. So now she sees why it's cool. Mhm.
Right.
Oh, you
Okay.
didn't have your background.
Right. Well, I had to show them that.
Mhm.
So yes, it is in your daily. And so Nola is here because obviously I'm so
Thank you,
far
Regina and Jarrett. Mhm.
I'm so far removed from I mean, I got thousands and thousands and thousands of days of doing this. And so sometimes that can be a little disheartening for you, but she's closer. But she's also you got everybody needs to remember she's 23, just turned 23. So she has 2 more years before she even has her fully developed frontal lobe. We 2 years out from that, damn near, a little less than 2 years. It's possible. With mental illnesses, without a fully developed prefrontal cortex, we have Regina on the other side that's doing everything under the sun too, with sitting at 190 something days
Thank
for
you,
what she's
Bridget.
doing with the Real Leader
I
resources.
appreciate it.
And so the myth is young people can't do it, boomers can't do it, people without frontal lobes, people with mental illnesses, all of that is some bullshit. The brain's plastic, and you have the ability to create new neural pathways. You have the ability to have neural clarity. You have the ability not to just sustain it with that little bitty red toolkit. And I had forgot about it. She showed it to me. She was about to give it away. I was like, no, you got to keep that because that's your original one. You gave away plenty of other tools, but that's something that you need to keep so you can remember how much skills you have in order to be able to do those things. Because that toolkit was not going to put together a gazebo. It was not going to put together a pergola. It's not going to put the key. You can't mount no TVs on the wall with that little bitty drill, little electric screwdriver. Don't have
That
enough
thing
voltage
wasn't
to push
even
these studs.
that electric screwdriver was only 3.6 volts, and now I have an 18-volt drill.
Right. So that and an impact driver and some other stuff. Sawzalls and all of that. But it happened incrementally. So it happened with every appointment. The mom did, that was
You
her
think I
first
should keep
appointment.
the miter saw?
I
Mm.
think you should. Um,
Mm.
So the mom bed of her first appointment on February 3rd of 2021 took her 2.5 hours, 33 minutes now to put that together. But it's because of all the other things that were able to be assembled and all those other appointments. So the point is, Cam makes the impossible possible. So we should start seeing progress after we finish the reps, or should we start applying change daily? You need to do the neural reps first. The neural reps are
You gotta work
strengthening
your
your
way up
brain, and you're gonna
because
work your way up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Nola. I
because
apologize.
no. So 15, I had a paradigm shift.
When she was 15.
Right
When
when
she
I
was
turned
15
15,
years
2
old.
days after I had turned 15, we had a discussion.
We
Anyway,
held each other's hands and we sat by the bonfire and we sang
no,
Kumbaya.
no, we
Yes,
didn't.
we did. This
Anyway,
line's
over
not
winter
secure. Yes,
break,
we did.
because I have a winter birthday. And
We
so,
were very close. I was
okay,
telling her how much
let
I
me
loved her,
finish. Let me
nose to
finish.
nose.
Let me finish. And so then I started doing things from a real leadership perspective. I had reread Real Leaders Wear Pink. And so my principles and journey had started going there. Then I started following her on Instagram so that I could be looking at the post daily. It was a process. So by the time I had actually did RL 365, I had been doing real leader work with like it's in your daily activities on my phone and everything to reviewing the content and everything. So I had to work my way up because we didn't have the levels yet. But that's part of the reason why we're saying people need the levels, because it's like by the time I actually did a 365-day challenge, I had already been doing stuff with real leadership for like 4 years. So
Right.
you do have to
Take
work
care of
your way up.
Virginia. Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah, that's
Yes,
why
you
we
do have to work your
created the
way up.
system, because you're not going to just be able to go from being unaccountable to doing a 365-day challenge.
Not gonna happen. You need
Well, you can
neurological strength to get
start.
it
You're not
done.
gonna finish it.
You're not gonna finish. And finish what you started is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So any other questions for Nola or myself before we get to your two questions for today?
I didn't think we were gonna be an hour.
Always. You had about 12 examples.
It was 6.
Okay.
It
It
was
was
6.
any other questions? All right, I'm gonna flip my screen around and here are two questions for today. Your two questions for today is what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself today? These two questions are designed for you to set the neural pathway that you will always have the expectation that you learn something every day so that you can grow wiser and smarter each day as you lay your head on your amazing pillow. You are creating and strengthening that neural pathway. And then, secondarily, what did you learn about yourself today? Self reflection happens in the default mode network. And when you expect to explore and learn about yourself, you will consistently do that throughout the day, every day, day after day. So that is the purpose of these two questions. Go ahead and type in your ellipse or your thinking emoji, your brain emoji, or buffering to let me know who has the ability to answer this question today. And Bridget has her buffer. You can also drink water. Jernice is waiting. Jernice is replying as well. You can also drink water while you think.
Okay. Can I say something?
You may.
What did I learn today? Um you can't.
I thought you had something to say, and now you're thinking.
Well, I'm saying I'm gonna say something. I don't have a thinking emoji. You just gonna watch
Okay,
me think. Mhm.
what you think? Got it.
Do
Do
and
you
the
want?
thing is, do we have to answer these in the order, because while I have you, because oftentimes I end up developing my what did I learn about myself today before the what did I learn today. Do we have
You
to answer them in order?
you can flip it.
Okay, got it. What I learned about myself is that I'm becoming good at impromptu-ness like you. I tapped into my Dr. Donna impromptu gene, and now I have it.
Congratulations.
I had to find it. I had to find it.
Just
Like, where
find it.
is it?
Had to
Where is
locate it.
it?
Bridget said, I learned that you have to keep asking yourself how you feel to ignite the insula. Yes, you have the insula and then you have the insular cortex. That's one of the smaller lobes. And so, in order for it to start alerting you, you do need to start like tapping at it. Hey, wake up. How we doing? What's going on? And what you're gonna find, Bridget, you at some point you could feel and then you couldn't. And you're gonna get to when did you stop? You chose to go numb instead of feeling. So something shut you down previously in life. And then what did you learn today, Nola?
Oh,
If you're still thinking, I can read Daisy's. Daisy said, I learned today that trust comes from myself first before I can be trusted. Yes, ma'am. That is correct.
uh, oh. Some people are masking a lack of trust as a need for control.
Yes,
That's what it
they are.
is.
And most of the time, it's because they don't trust themselves. So then they
Mm-hmm.
can't trust you because they just like Homeboy was on here talking about he can't trust his friends with his dreams because they're associates and they just watch football together. And Journey said, I learned that trust is not just in a relationship, it's also being responsible. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mm-hmm. And communicate effectively, because part of the reason why people can't trust each other is because people don't know how to communicate with each other. Not talk to each other, but actually communicate effectively. Bridget said, I learned about myself that I should make lists of my issues and feelings in order to help figure some things out. Yes, ma'am, you will have neuro peace. Neuro peace. That is for sure. What I learned is that trolls don't like being trolled. They can dish it, but they damn sure can't take it. They do not expect it to be turned on them. Not at all. Not in the least bit. And I also learned that I can just look at their comments and move on peacefully. Every one of them made a lesson. And I wanted to check that today to see as many. I think we've had like 7 in addition to Tracy. One person policed his own self up. Let me go back and make sure I do block him though. Because he should have never typed it. Yeah. And their name was fuck around and find out. So that's what they got to do today. Because you don't come over here starting something and then trying to take it away. Give me 1 second. I just saw someone else that needs to be removed. We're gonna find out what the remove number is here on YouTube. Daisy said, I learned about myself that I don't need to be part of the yes crowd. That is
Did you
correct.
read Bridget's already? Because I read
I
it, but I
did.
can't remember if you
I
read it. Okay,
learned
my bad.
about myself that I should list my issues. Yes, I said that and I responded.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha.
And
Mhm.
then Journey said, what I learned about myself is I don't give myself time to change. I want results fast and need to take more time to do the work, trust the process in myself. Yes, because Amy and Lala, your left and right amygdala, talked you into all of that comfort shit and they want results immediately. But Journeys, it's not just them, it's the ACC. That's why it's important for you to attend tomorrow's live, no matter what you are doing, or watch the replay, because it's actually your ACC programming as well that's taking place. And then Computer J said consistency builds trust and discipline is the key. Now I'm gonna come back on camera because you all know the questions by now. And my nose is itchy
Oh,
and sneeze.
you came
Yeah,
back and you look like you about to sneeze.
yeah.
You
So here's
came
the
back
thing.
and now you like.
Right. So like I was treating my nose on camera. No, not at all. I'd be sweating by now. Anyway, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. No one taught us how to use our brain, how it functions, or how to use it. So that's number one. So I don't care. And Bridget and Lola are on here now. So currently they are the oldest people on the lives. They are both boomers. Lola, then Bridget. They're boomers, and Bridget is a boomer X, and then Nola currently is the youngest person that we know of that's on the live. There's a 40-something year age gap between those groups. No one taught us on the higher end of age, and no one taught her on the lower end of age. And so stop beating yourself up for something that you did not know. You were not aware of it. If you are aware of something, you know, don't break the law, because that's everywhere. So if you break the law knowingly, then hey, do your time, come on out and try to be a reformed citizen. But nobody taught us how to use our brains. We did not go to brain class in elementary school. We did not go to brain class in middle school, high school. I have 3 degrees, didn't go to brain class. I'm now going to brain class on my own choosing. So you didn't know you had a left and right amygdala. You didn't know that you had a frontal lobe. You might have knew a little bit of it, but you didn't understand the functionality of it. And you weren't able to find out what your somatic markers were to not mark them early in your life. And now you have this information at whatever age you are, thousands and thousands and thousands of days of being here. Do not beat yourself up for not knowing. Do not beat yourself up. And Journeys, you did the yes and no challenge, but you weren't even the one who had to do it multiple times. There was someone else who had to do the yes and no challenge for 100. It took that person 120 days to get to 30 consecutive days for the yes and no challenge. That's a long time. So you have survived in your life. That's all you were doing, was surviving each day based upon how you look, what gender you are, ethnicity, social economic status, educational status. If you live in the LGBT community, you had to deal with that and everything else, SAs and all kind of stuff, poverty and everything else. You were surviving. You woke up every day and survived that day. And then you woke up the next day and did it for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of days. I've been here 19,000 days, surviving and thriving in my case, fortunately. But that's not everybody's existence. So do not get off this live and beat yourself up and say you're behind. Behind what exactly? When did you have an opportunity to get neurologically ahead? Where was that at? You didn't say, yeah, I'm skipping you, and if you're ditching and you're like, yeah, I ain't going to brain class today. I don't like my brain teacher. You didn't have that experience. It wasn't available to you. So you just now got the opportunity. So now, if you don't do anything going forward, hell yeah, it's on you. Because this is available to you every single day. And there is a system incrementally to improve what's happening, as Jerry said, and that's my tagline, it's in your daily. But what happens neurologically is the brain now wants to beat you up for something that you didn't even know you didn't know and you didn't have access to. So if you didn't have access to it, we got access to the internet. Back in the day, we used to have to go to the library, look up microfiche, and go get the reference books to get the information we need. Now we can Google it, we can chat GPT it. So we can't get mad because the information is now available to us in seconds, and we had to go get the information. Don't do that. And Bridget said, what pisses me off about myself is the comfort that I have been in and safe and not doing the work. And I need to accomplish my bad motherfuckingness. Thank you. I tend to be very hard on myself because that's what social conformity theories does. It says beat you up for something you did not know and you didn't have access to. That's illogical. That's a dysregulated system. And then all it does is make you want to stay stuck. Amy and Lala are saying that to you, so you just stay stuck and say that's just the way it is. It's not. It actually isn't. And then it's because they know that this is about to be efforted. So they want to stop you before you get started so you won't finish what you started. But your role is every day do those 60-second strategies on Instagram for a 7-day free trial. And then elevate your way to the next level and do 60-second neural reps. And then do your level 3 for 90 days. And that's why so many days at so many levels, because you have to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. And it takes time. However old you are, that's how weak your prefrontal cortex is. And that's how strong your emotional dysregulation is. Stay safe and stay stuck. I'm just going to survive in life instead of thrive. Nola had to do a lot of work to go from that one toolkit to the back of her car. That's 2,600 projects, not pieces of furniture, but actual appointments. 2,600 times showing up at a business, the convention center, a small business, the mall, people's houses, apartments, the hood, the cut, mansions, and everything else, day in and day out for 5 years. It was almost 5 years and 6 days a week. 2 to 3, sometimes 4 appointments in a day. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of neuro effort in order to go from that kid to the back of her vehicle looking like that, to go negotiate the deal herself with the person and say, no, I need this, I need that, I need this. Okay, cool. Bet. Sign here. Adios. That's 5 years worth of work. That's thousands of days. And you have to be able to do that every day, regardless of what's happening. She graduated 2020 with COVID and then went into this business during the mask time for everybody in COVID. February of 2021. We were still in mask until June of 2021. And we just got out of mask because of my low white blood cell count. So it is day in and day out and day in and day out. Do not be hard on yourself. We're counting the days until 90 days. Okay, I get that methodology now. We're almost at 30 days since starting the count. Yes, ma'am. 90 days and then 180 days. I got this from Al-Anon and everywhere else. Every sobriety program tells you to count the days. And being in the military and prison, I just had to go to where people count the days because
you had 7 days. If you go through the levels, 7 days. 30, 90, 180, and then 5 is 4 minutes.
365. And that's what has to happen. And now I understand it. And remember, we got here because I was like, why people can't just do a year? It ain't hard. Why they can't? And I'm like, oh, yes, the fuck it is hard. It's extremely difficult because it's neurological. So do not feel bad. You are not looking at Nola and saying a 23-year-old then outlapped me. That's no. This is a person who, even
I
though their
started
mother,
doing this at 15. So
right,
15
she's
plus
8 years
23
in.
is 8 years, right?
Right. So where will you be in 8 years? That's what you need to pay attention to. Is what is possible when you are daily, day in, day out, day in, day out. Okay, Lola, have a
Yes, you
great
have
one.
a great rest of your day too.
So that's my summation. Do not be dismayed. Do not feel discouraged, because what you have to do is look at how many days you have been doing this and what you don't do anymore and what you started doing. That's what you, Jared is 19 books in. You have to look at those things to say, I don't do I'm not comfortable anymore. I'm discomforted. How many
You
lives you
probably
have
will get
attended?
into a RL challenge. You'll probably possibly we're discussing that, but you're probably doing like RL 365, RL advanced.
It is. And so it's different things that you do at that point, Bridget. So because RL 365, RL Beyond, and RL Advanced, you start working on bigger things. So for example, Regina is starting a small business now because she is in our Real Leader Resources. So you start doing those bigger projects. So Nola is still doing things. She's getting ready to sunset this version of Assemble and start advising furniture companies. So it is, but it's customized at that point. You start picking the things that you want to work on. Does that answer your question? It is. Yes. So let's say, for example, 5 years from now, you say you want to start opening up franchises for clinics. Then that would be what you would be working on, how to get that done. And so you would have a strategy and you would be executing that strategy every day to start developing the franchise business model and then to start allowing people to buy your clinics like they do Fantastic Sam's and Jana King and all those other franchises. Then you would be working on that. So it really is the anchor to continuously grow. Grow continually is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. You start working on your personal legend things at that point.
Mhm.
And it's just the system that ensures that you don't cut corners and you actually be the best at whatever it is that you're going to do. That's why Nola has to deliver 5-star service every time she has an appointment, regardless if they tip, regardless if they leave a review, because that's her standard of excellence. That's what's taking place. So thank all of you. Nola, do you have anything before we go? So you're advancing. When I show that thing, it says advancing. I guess Nola doesn't have anything else. It's once a week. She got it. She got to get her system together. So thank you all for allowing us to reach our gift goal. Do not miss tomorrow. It is going to start you understanding what the ACC is doing. You might clutch your real leader pearls when you hear it, and it will give you the ability to start to understand the brain regions and the principles of real leadership that go with those brain regions in order for you to actually have a neurological handbook and a physical handbook, which is the principles of real leadership, in order for you to navigate successfully throughout your day. As always, I appreciate you allowing me to understand what's happened neurologically for you, and it gives me the ability to then go up here after this is over, process, and present more systems and information to you to strengthen your prefrontal cortex and regulate your emotional center. I will be back tomorrow. We're finished with the principles of real leadership as we know them. And now it's time to up the ante and start applying it to neuroscience in our brain regions and our day to day lives completely. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t shirt, which are located on my Amazon shop. They're ready for you to purchase when you are ready to start being badass and have your own brain t shirts on too. That part is for you. Nola will be back next week. Thank you for your time and your space. And you all go off and have a braintastic day. Take care. Adios.